to his old ways real quick here.
All right, Kruz Griffith is with us now here, and he was in the sport mods. And let's show this picture of him in his sport mod getting ready. Now, I was kind of told the story, but I want Scott to tell it a little bit, and then you can talk about it as well, because it's kind of one of those. It's a really scary story. It's a good cautionary tale for all of us, and it's ultimately inspirational. So, Scott, go ahead and share what you told me.
It was a couple of weeks ago. My son got into a little accident and fell and slipped and he landed on some concrete and hurt his back. So, having a little trouble breathing. So we took him to emergency, and as we pull into the parking lot, my wife's checking him in. I noticed some girls out there that I've seen around at the track. I mean, they look familiar. Mm-hmm. So we get Brody checked in, and then they take us back in the emergency room, and I'm walking by, and there's Kruz in a room, him and his wife, and he's laying in a hospital bed, and then he tells me what he went through, and I'm like, wow, and then tells me he won't be at the racetrack. I'm like, that's the last thing you need to worry about. Get yourself taken care of. And so then I seen him at the race the next week. He's in the grandstands watching him. I text him, and he says he's got some tests to run and all that, and he'll be back when he can. And then I get a phone call the next week that he's good to go. And then next thing you know, he's standing in victory lane at the end of the night.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah.
So you were in the ER, and if you don't mind me saying, you had a seizure, right?
No, I actually didn't end up having a seizure.
Okay.
I ended up it was just a blackout.
Okay.
I was standing next to my truck and just really dehydrated. Didn't realize I was dehydrated, and ended up blacking out, and went and had a bunch of tests ran, and it was scary. They were telling me I was going to lose my license for 6 months and wasn't going to be able to race. And next thing I knew, I was standing in victory circle, so it all went good.
So now, what do you do for a living? You're an oil field guy, or what do you do?
Yeah, I worked for my father at Randy's Trucking Corporation.
Okay, so it was hot here, quickly. It's been real warm here, so just get overheated. What happened?
Yeah, I just didn't have enough water in my system and didn't realize it. And next thing I knew, I was laying on the ground, and I woke up in an ambulance, and I was wondering what in the world happened.
Yeah.
My buddy was like, dude, you blacked out. And they thought I had a seizure because I was shaking, but it was just my muscles contracting.
Right.
And but I've had a bunch of tests, and
everything's good.
Everything's good, so here we are.
But this is something like, it's kind of interesting, though, because, being in driving, you just sweat so much in those cars, and then, working in the industry, I mean, just something that kind of caught up or kind of just crept up on you, right? I mean,
yeah, just finally caught up, and, I mean, it happened. I can tell you right now, I drink a lot more water than I used to.
Yeah, that's a scary thing, because you probably woke up and you didn't even know where you were even at, probably, huh?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what had happened, and people were trying to tell me, and then that's when I saw Scott in the ER, and everyone was wondering what happened. Everyone thought I had a stroke, and no, I didn't have a stroke. And I didn't have a seizure.
Right. So just everybody out there, Mike, remember, drink a little water.
This was a couple weeks ago when it got up kind of warm really fast, right? Is it like mid-80s or something?
Yeah, it got really hot really fast.
Well, so that just shows you too. Like you can get dehydrated like that in a hurry, even in 80s or 90s.
Right. I think we in Bakersfield, we think 80. Yeah, it's not that hot. 85 in the summer when it's 100 degrees. Yeah, drink water. So maybe it was a little bit of that mentality. Yeah, it's warm but not hot.
Yeah.
And actually, it can happen quickly. I've been down that road of getting dehydrated, not to the point of passing out, and you have to be careful.
So you got back in the car, though, on Saturday in this sport mod class, and, yours is kind of a family effort, and you won your first race. I mean, just tremendous.
Yeah, and honestly, I couldn't have done it without Terry Henry. I had my car over there for 2 weeks when I was sick, and I was kind of in the air. I was talking to him back and forth. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to race, and finally I gave him the green light, and he got my car perfect, and I went out there and put it on the winner's circle for him, and I can't thank him enough. And I want to thank my mom and my dad, and Roger Welch, my wife, Kyle, Nikki, my nieces, my whole family, my sister Kirsten, everyone that helps me.
Because whenever I've seen you, the 2 times I've been there, and I've seen you and your brother, I mean, it's like you guys just work your asses off basically to get that car get those cars ready. And you both work together very closely, too.
Yeah, and, I couldn't do it without my brother. He's always there. He's backing me 110%, telling me what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. And, he's kind of more the guy. He can go out and read a racetrack to where I go out there, I'm wide open and hope for the best. But he's always there to back me, and he helps me out a lot.
Let's take a look at a few of these pictures from the Sport Mod race, and we'll talk a little bit more about this here. But just go through these photos and get us to the results. This has been a tremendous field already, and a nice car count. There you are with the in the winner's circle, and you get the win. You beat Tina Pounds. That's saying something. You beat Ricky Childers Jr. You beat Gary Dutton, who won the previous week. Nick Spain Howard's pretty darn good. Michael Johnson, Billy Simpkins won the season opener. Jason Nation, Austin Fry. I mean, Jared Schweitzer. I mean, you went through the gauntlet there of guys.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that's crazy is you look at the top 10, and any one of those guys could have won because they're all just as good as me, and some even better. I mean, I might have had a lucky night, but I mean, I was definitely up there, and I was a contender, and I'm glad I made it happen.
All right, you know, what is it? I mean, what is it like to race in that class, though? I mean, it's such an exciting class to be in.
Well, when you're sitting up there on stage and you're kind of looking around, and you think any one of these guys can win. I mean, even up to 22nd, the last place guy can win because everything could be going perfectly fine. That if the guy in first spins out and you hit him, causes a huge pileup, then the guy in 22nd's all of a sudden in the front.
All right.
So you just never know.
All right. Let's get to a couple